Hey guys, back here again to do another Blu-ray review, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a Blu-ray that you guys saw me unpackage in the mail a while ago, and this is one movie that I've heard so many people talk about, and it was one film that I've wanted to see for a really long time, and I must say I was not disappointed with this film. But the movie, or the Blu-ray I'm going to be talking about, is the Dark Sky Films release of Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer. And yeah, like I said, I was really impressed with this movie. It's a really dark and gritty film. You know, it's more of a character study thriller than it is a horror film in a way. You know, kind of in the vein of Psycho or the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I'd say it's closer to Psycho than it is to Texas Chainsaw, but you know, it's one of those films that really, you know, puts you into the mindset of the killer, and it puts you like right next to them as they go through their lives, and it kind of shows you how they are as people as opposed to just showing them as monsters, even though they really are monsters. But you know, it kind of shows them as sort of the human. You know, it shows them how they are as people, and it really puts you right next to it, and that's what I really enjoyed about this movie. So yeah, like I said, this is the 2009 Blu-ray release from Dark Sky Films, and as I did in my last review, I'm just going to go through, you know, everything that this Blu-ray has to offer. I'm going to go through the picture quality and the sound quality of the film. I'm going to talk about all the special features, and I'll also talk about the disc menu. So yeah, first I want to talk about the picture quality of it. Now, I do not. I have, like I said, I've never seen Henry until I got this Blu-ray. So I haven't seen it on DVD or anything. So I really can't compare it to compare the quality to any other previous release. But from my own opinion, I think that this Blu-ray looks really, really good. I think that the picture quality is really nice and crisp. I have seen clips of it previously in documentaries before I got this Blu-ray, and so I've kind of seen that the quality of the film in different documentaries, and I must say that they cleaned this movie up really good. It looks really, really like crisp and clear. It's really a great picture. The sound in it is really good as well. You know, you pretty much hear, you know, you can hear all the dialogue really, really well. Every blood-curdling scream. It doesn't say, I don't think it says, no it doesn't. It doesn't say if it's HD or not. I'm pretty sure it's HD, but it doesn't say anything about the sound on the back of the case. The film is presented in its original full frame, 1:33 aspect ratio, which was kind of weird. I have a widescreen TV, so when I watched it, it had black bars on both sides of the screen. So, but, you know, other than that, it was a really great experience watching this movie. So, yeah, like I said, the sound and the picture quality are both great on this Blu-ray. Now I'll go ahead and talk about the special features. I'm going to list them off first. The first feature is the feature-length commentary with director John McNulty, I think that's how you pronounce it. I will say I'm not a huge commentary guy, so I have not watched this commentary yet or listened to it. However, he does have the director is interviewed several times on in the documentary, and as well as another interview on this Blu-ray, and he does give a lot of great information. So I'm sure that the commentary is got a lot of great detail about the film. This Blu-ray also has a theatrical trailer, a still gallery, Portrait: The Making of Henry documentary, the Serial Killers Henry Lee Lucas documentary, deleted scenes and outtakes with commentary by the director, original storyboards, and an interview with director John McNulty from 1998. So yeah, now I'm just going to give a brief some detail about the two documentaries. The first one is called Portrait: The Making of Henry documentary, and I must say this is a really, really great documentary. It has interviews with the director as well as the producer of the film, some of the screenwriters, I believe, as well as interviews with all three of the cast members, Michael Rooker, Tom Towles, and Tracy Arnold, and it was really great to see all three of them come back and do interviews with this film. I mean, for this Blu-ray. Michael Rooker, he's kind of a quiet guy. Like during his interview, he talks about he's really, really quiet, and he talks about his work on the film, and he seems like a pretty down-to-earth person. Kind of in the same way Henry is in the movie. He's kind of a quiet guy who really doesn't seem to I guess have a big presence, but in the documentary and stuff, you hear that Michael Rooker is actually a really nice and kind person, very, very different from what Henry is in the film. And yeah, there's of course there's stories about the making of the film. Basically, the director talks a lot about how this movie came to be. Originally, he did a documentary about gangsters, and he was originally going to do another one about wrestling. Unfortunately, the people that he did the deal with to do the documentary went back on their deal, and he basically just said the hell with them, and he and a friend went back and started working on Henry, which was what they wanted to do. They wanted to do a horror film, and at that point, the video market was really big, so there was so many video stores out there. There was so many low-budget horror films being released on VHS, and it talks a bit about that. It even shows, footage of the inside of a video store and all the great VHS boxes. And mainly, the director originally wanted to just release the film on VHS and just have it out there like that, and that was one of the main things they wanted to do with it. They of course had no idea that this movie would become such a cult classic. But, they go into a lot of detail about, of course, how the film was made, of how, they did it on, they just basically went out and filmed it. They didn't have any permits filming anywhere. They basically just walked down the sidewalk and filmed, like when Tracy Arnold's character is looking for a job. They basically just followed her, in the film they just followed her around with a camera, and they had no permission of doing it. And they go into, and there's a lot of really great stories like that. Michael Rooker actually went to the audition dressed as Henry, and originally he was a handy, he wasn't a handyman. I forget the job that he had before he did the movie, but he basically just came to the audition in his work clothes, which is essentially what Henry wears throughout the entire movie, because he's a working man in the film, and so he basically came into the audition completely dressed and completely in character, and they were really impressed by him, and that's how they he got the job. So yeah, the portrait documentary is really great. They go into a lot of great detail about the making of the film. There's interviews with pretty much everybody that you'd want, the cast, as well as most of the crew members. There's even an interview with the mother of the family, the family invasion scene. There's an interview with her, and and she talks about what it was like during that scene, that infamous scene that everybody remembers. And so yeah, Portrait, The Making of Henry is a really, really great documentary, and if you're a fan of this movie, then that's one I highly recommend you see. The next documentary is called The Serial Killers, Henry Lee Lucas, and this was actually taken from a Dark Sky box set called The Serial Killers, and it's a pretty short documentary. It's like a 15-20 minute documentary about Henry's life, and you really get a sense and a really good portrait of who this man was. There's interviews with the sheriff and the people that basically put him behind bars, and it talks about his childhood and how messed up it was, and excuse me, and it also goes into there's also an interview with Henry behind bars, and he talks about what his childhood was like, and you can really get a sense of just how messed up and sick Henry Lee Lucas was as a person. Just the horrible things that he did, like he had sex with dead animals, like little children. He was a really messed up person, and I think that documentary is it's a really short documentary, but I think that it really does a good job, talking about who he was, and I thought it was pretty insightful. Like I said, it was a pretty short one, and one thing I didn't like about it was the music. I felt that the music was really out of place in that one, but other than that, if you're not familiar with Henry Lee Lucas, then I think that this is a pretty good short documentary to watch. Just to get I guess, just a feel of who he was and how sick of a person he truly was. This also has deleted scenes and outtakes with a commentary by the director, and there's no audio for any of the deleted scenes. It's just the director doing the commentary over it. And he talks about how a lot of the scenes that they cut out, he felt were pretty, I won't go into detail about the deleted scenes, but he said that they all came off as funny or silly. And I agree. I think that a lot of the deleted scenes, they just didn't fit the rest of the feel of the movie, and that's why they were removed. There's one scene in it, one deleted scene that I think could have fit into the movie, but other than that, I do agree with the director. I think a lot of the scenes that they cut out were pretty silly or pretty, kind of funny in a way. So I do agree with that, but they were still cool to see nonetheless. There's also a storyboards and an interview with the director, which was actually taken from the 1998 MPI DVD release. And that interview, again, really insightful. Just like the interviews in the Portrait, the Making of Henry documentary, he really goes into a lot of detail about what he did before he worked on the film and what he did during it. So yeah, that's a really, really great, insightful interview. I mean, and yeah, it's a really, really, I really enjoyed that one as well. So, the last thing I want to talk about is the Blu-ray menu. Now, if you guys remember in my last review, I talked about the Twister Blu-ray, and I felt that I was disappointed with it because there was nothing unique about the menu sequence. And this one, the menu is really, really good in this one. It's got clips from the movies playing throughout. Every time you, of course, go across, the play movie scenes, bonus features, there's a nice blood splatter. And there's also a sound every time you click on one of the features. It has like a knife stabbing, or I think it's like a blood splatter sound effect. So I really like the Blu-ray menu. And at the beginning of the menu, it actually has the scene of when the infamous home invasion scene, and you hear Henry ask, what are you doing? And Otis is like, I want to watch it again. If you've seen the movie, then you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah, I did like the menu of this Blu-ray. So all in all, I must say that this is a top-notch Blu-ray. There's really nothing about this that I did not like. Like I said, the sound and the picture quality of the movie looks really great. The documentaries on it are very insightful, and they go into a lot of detail about everything you would probably want to know about the making of the film. The serial killer short documentary about Henry Lee Lucas, it was pretty insightful, I must say. I've seen a whole lot more better serial killer documentaries, but if you're someone that just wants to know like a general outline of who Henry Lee Lucas is, then I think that documentary is good enough, And the interview with the director is also really insightful and really, really, he just goes into a lot of great detail. So I must say, all around, this is a top-notch Blu-ray. And if you're looking to upgrade this movie, I would definitely recommend picking this Blu-ray up. I cannot think of anything that I disliked about it. It's really, great. The movie looks great, and it's got a lot of great special features, really insightful. And yeah, I highly recommend this Blu-ray. So, that was my review for Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer, the Dark Sky Films Blu-ray release. So, as I said in my last video, I do plan on doing more of these. I won't do a whole lot of them, but if there was ever any, Blu-ray in my collection that I don't think is talked about a lot, or if it's a movie that I really enjoyed and I think that, it deserves to be, if I feel like doing a video on it, then I'll do one. I won't do a whole lot of these, reviews, but I will be doing more of them in the future. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have seen Henry, then definitely let me know what you think about it. And if you own this Blu-ray, let me know what you think about the features. Do you think that they're as insightful as I said? And yes, So thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.